Greetings, Trail Life 7777. This is Ranger Garver here, going to go over some details of the Pinewood Derby here for you. So, just to get everybody up to speed, rather than type this out in a long email, I figured I'd try to make a quick video. Maybe we can get this information out to you a little quicker. Alright, so on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, your trailman came home with a piece of paper like this. This is how we're going to design our Pinewood Derby car. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the design, going to go over the rules, and then give you some tips at the end. Hopefully we can keep this video short, but we'll see where it goes. Alright, so we're going to design the car. We got to first, before we get on the block, this next Tuesday, we're getting a kit like this. It's going to be in a bag. You're going to get the block of wood. You're going to get 4 wheels and 4 axles. And basically, you have to use all this material on your car. You cannot go to Hobby Lobby and buy one of their kits there. You have to use one of the kits that we provide, because that way we can guarantee everybody's got the same materials. The Hobby Lobby kits, have different wheels, different axles, that kind of thing. So this way everybody starts with the same stuff. So we got 4 wheels, 4 axles, and the block of wood. Let's push the wheels and axles to the side for a minute, but make sure that you don't lose them, because if we have to replace any piece of it, you're going to have to buy a new kit. And the initial kit we're going to give to you free as part of the dues, but if we have to replace your kit, it's going to be $5. So don't lose any of your stuff. Alright, so how do we get the design on a block? So how do we make a car go from this to this? And I'll show you. Alright, so here, this is to get your kids thinking. This is the top view of the car. This is the side view. This is the other side. This is the front view and a back view. So get your design on the paper. And really, you only need, most designs will only take 2 of the sides. So the top view and the side view. Basically, we're going to take it to the bandsaw, and we have to make a series of cuts. So, the first cut is going to be this side, and then we're going to turn it this way, and we're going to cut out, these sides. So how do we tell the person where to cut? So we'll make a design like this, and then we're going to take this design and we're going to transfer it to the block. So I've already got some of the lines on there. You can see, get the design on the block, and basically you're showing the person who's cutting it what to keep. So this is going to be part of the final car, and then anything that's cut off gets thrown away. So we're going to keep this part, we're going to throw this part away. Right, so on here, if we're going to do this, I'll do it real quick and rough. So this is going to be the keep, and this is going to be the throwaway. Okay? And then so we'll take it to the bandsaw, and I did this on a scrap piece of wood, so I didn't waste one of our kits. But I did the same thing. I transferred the design to a block. You got the keep and you got the throwaway. And then first we're going to make this cut like this. So we're going to cut it out, and at the end you'll have a block that looks kind of like this. And then we're going to make the second cut. That's these cuts. And at the end you'll have something that looks like this. So this is kind of starting to look like a car. Maybe look something like that car a little bit. But you'll notice that it's got all these saw marks on it. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take it and you're going to have to get this sanded down. Start with an 80 grit sandpaper, move up to a 120, go up to a 250 or whatever. Just get it nice and smooth. You can see here on this car that the final finish here is pretty smooth. We worked a lot on this one to get that sanded down and painted nice and smooth. So just work on it whatever you want. And then as far as decorating afterwards, you can, I'll show you some examples. This one is just a decal kit that we got from Hobby Lobby. So we just put some decals on it. That was the one he wanted to do that year. This one, it was another kind of a kit. It made it look like a snake. So there's little snakes on the wheels, little snake eyes, and we did the paint to kind of look like scales of the snake. This worked well, but I wouldn't recommend the wheel stuff because the glue from the stickers there might get into the axle, and you can see this wheel doesn't spin very well. So if you're going for speed, maybe that kind of kit's not the best. But it is important to note that there are more awards than just speed awards. So yes, we are going to see who has the fastest car, but we're also looking for things like sportsmanship. Somebody's going to get a sportsmanship award. Who's doing the best cheering on their fellow teammates? Who is doing the best at saying good job, or I hope you do good today, that kind of stuff. There's going to be people looking for that and give an award for sportsmanship. There's going to be the best decoration award. There's going to be a whole bunch of awards that are non-speed awards, and so I just want to let you know that speed is not the most important thing here. So that being said, design your car on paper, and then this Tuesday we're going to get the blocks. So transfer the design to the block, and then we're going to have people with the bandsaw that will cut it out. And when you're done cutting, sand it and paint it, get it decorated however you want to. So now let's go over the rules. Send out a rule sheet. You can read them here, but I'll send this out in the email as well. I'm not going to go over the rules for the sake of time on the video, but you can see, I'll highlight some of the main ones. The weight cannot exceed 5 ounces. So you can be under 5 ounces, but you cannot go over. And you want to be as close to that 5 ounces as possible to give you the most potential energy. The overall length of the car, you basically can't go longer than the block. You can go shorter if you want, but this wheelbase has to remain the same. So your car has to be at least that long. And there's no real advantage of cutting anything off the block this way, because you want the most potential energy. And the higher up, the car is going to start like this on the track, and you want the weight of the car to be, right about here. You want the center of gravity pretty high on the car, and so the higher up from the starting pin you can be, the more advantage you're going to have. So if you make your car shorter, it's not going to give you any advantage because it's going to take some of that potential energy away. So you can make it a little shorter if you like, but I don't recommend it. The other thing is you have to, in the middle of the front, it cannot be cut away, because the starting gate basically has pins that it rests against, and then the pin will drop out and the cars go down the track. So the car has to have something for that starting pin to rest against. There's other rules in there. You can go ahead and read through them. Basically, like I said before, everything in the kit that we give you has to be used. The wheels and the axles. You cannot go buy third-party stuff of that. You can't put an engine. You can't put springs or rubber bands. You can't give any advantage to your car other than just gravity and the lubrication of the axles. So you can polish and smooth the wheels and axles, but you cannot remove any material from it. So the wheel, we'll check the wheels to make sure that they're basically the size. The kits we get are pretty good. I haven't noticed many imperfections in the kits that we get, so they don't really need a lot of work. But you can, if you have to, take a fine grit sandpaper and smooth the wheel and to polish the axles. I do recommend that, but it's not a big deal because these axles that we get are really good quality, and there's no real major imperfections to it. But I'll go over polishing in a different video. So yeah, those are the basic rules. So on Friday, the Friday before the race, on Saturday, we're gonna open up the church and we're gonna have check-in night. And on check-in night, we're gonna have people checking to make sure that these rules are followed. Get the car entered into the software, give the car a number, and that way we can prepare for the race on Saturday. So yeah, by Friday night, all these the cars are left at the church, and make sure that they follow all the rules. All right, so now some tips. what can you do to make the fastest car? Well, as we learned this past week, one of the major factors is aerodynamic shape. And it doesn't have to be anything big, like the guy in the video showed. He basically took the block and cut it on a diagonal like that to make kind of like a doorstop, and he had really good results with that. So it doesn't have to be anything big, but you just don't want a big flat face in front. You want it to be reasonably aerodynamic. We made this one. This was pretty nice. This was a hard cut to do, so I wouldn't suggest that unless you're ready for it. Weight, 5 ounces. So the block itself probably weighs, I don't know, I'm going to guess 3 ounces or so. Maybe 3.5 once you get everything together. So you have to add weight to the car. How do you do that? Well, on this one, what we did was we drilled holes in the back, and then we took, I've got some weights here. These are tungsten weights. The tungsten basically is the most weight per size. So if you're looking to put a lot of weight in a little area, tungsten is the way to go. But the problem with that is they're expensive. At Hobby Lobby, you can use the coupon to buy them, but they're pretty expensive weights, but they're pretty good. Other options are, this is the same metal, this is tungsten, but it's a fishing lure that I got from Bass Pro Shop. So those work pretty well. And then this is lead fishing weight. Oops. The only thing with the lead is you can't have it exposed. So if you're going to use a lead weight, it has to be buried in the car and painted over. We can't have any exposed lead because well, we all know the problems with that. So there's a lot of different weights around. We also have this kind of weight. We have bought some of this for the troop. So on weigh-in night, if you need access to weights, basically you just take this weight and you can affix it to the bottom of the car, and then that will get your weight up to where you need it to be. Okay, and there's other kind of fishing weight stuff that I've used. So aerodynamic weight, polish the axles. You can read on here you just basically put it into a drill press, get some very, very fine grit, like 2000 grit sandpaper, and get the drill bit spinning nice and fast. Use the 2000 grit sandpaper on it and get it polished down. I think I have an example here of, this is one that I polished in years past. As you can see, it doesn't really look a whole lot different than, let's see. So this is the polished one, this is the new one. So you can tell a little difference, but these are really good quality kits that we get. And another thing I did to this one, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a little bend to it. That's for the advanced section down here. We'll go over advanced tips later, but okay, polish the axles, remove the imperfections on the wheels, and graphite lubrication. So that's basically this stuff. Again, we'll have some of this available on the check-in night on Friday, so don't worry about if you don't have the proper weight or the proper graphite. We have these two things available that we bought as the troop, available to everyone. But they also sell kits with the stuff at Hobby Lobby or whatever if you want to go get some of those yourself. All right, so that's about it for the the basic rules and tips and how to get the car shaped. So really looking forward to the Pinewood Derby. I love this time of year. It's really fun. It's the highlight of a lot of the trailman's experience in trail life. So looking forward to it. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you there.